Hello, this is a video about Robocraft 2 armor and how it works, as well as showing the robot I made for the closed multiplayer alpha that will start very shortly. First part of the video I will use to discuss how armor currently works in Robocraft 2. This of course will be matter to change in the future, since this is very early in development for Robocraft 2, but this is how it currently works, and you get a lot stronger robot by using the principles or knowing how it works compared to if you just construct a robot from what looks good. So what matters in Robocraft 2 is the wheels, and the wheels is the connection between cubes, right? So how thick a cube is doesn't matter. It's the size of the connection between them that matters. So this connection here will be just as strong as, for example, let's do this again, and this, right? So this being a lot thicker doesn't matter. If there are two different types of material, so you take a stronger material and a weaker material, it's the weaker material that counts. So it's the connection and together with the weaker material wield strength that matters. So the next thing to keep in mind is how much points you get for the connection itself. And the surface area is not important, it's the height and width. So you get the starting cube will have, or the connection the size of a cube will have 4 in base strength, and then as you go sideways or upwards you get 2 extra points, which means this connection of 9 will have 20 base connection strength, as well as this will have 20. This will have 36 in strength. However, this will only be 2 points stronger than this, because this will be 20 and then you get 2 for every extra height, so this is 22. So for the double amount of weight you only get 2 extra points or 10% extra strength. So that's something to keep in mind, which means from a weight perspective this should be a very strong armor. This also means that, for example, this connection is, it's got a surface area of 9. So does this. This will have 20, as we discussed, 4 and then 2 for every step we go towards the right hand side. While this will have 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 12 versus 20, despite having the exact same surface area. So only height and width matter. So let's say you want to do a corner, for example. You can also use this knowledge when making a corner and thinking about you optimize strength towards weight. So you have a corner here, it will have, this one will have 20 strength here, and also here, down here will be 20, right? This up here. So now, if you not plan to connect something here, nor here, a wise thing would actually be to use this instead. And you cut half the weight off, while still maintaining the exact same strength. Another thing to keep in mind here, knowing that you get very little extra for some extra width, is that if you do something like this got 4 times as much mass as this previous one did, but it only got 10% more strength. So in this case, this from a weight perspective is very a lot worse than just having the single one for very little extra gain in armor. So using those principles, you can construct a lot stronger robot. The second thing to keep in mind is that, let's say you do some kind of layer cake here. Ground damage can be kind of harsh on your robot if you have this kind of construction without anything below. So if you have this type of construction, you might want to consider having some armor below as well, taking bumps as you go downhill and might hit stuff. There's another reason to have something below here, is that the way damage works is that the connections die, not necessarily the cubes. The cubes can despawn after a while as they get ripped off the robot, but not immediately, which means a cube that is kind of dead but still stuck in between other cubes. Let's say you have something like over here and something over here, and this all the connections of this cube dies. It might still be held in place by other cubes, meaning it will still sit there and block some shots. At least that's how it seems to work. So that's something to keep in mind too. Now I will switch and show off the robot I made and when it takes some different damage. So let's test drive this one. I might mention the little box beside the robot is actually the engines and all the logic for the robot. As of now, this can run on Bluetooth, so to speak. You don't really need to have the engines in the robot itself. I hope they will change that in the future. Oh, let's see. They're all down there. Let's do some collision, or not all, some seems to have blown up already. Oh well. So let's start with some collision. Here we got one we can collide with. And let's do another collision here. So you can see those robots taking a lot more damage than this one. I also built in a little quirk in this one, so I can switch the controls to go backwards instead of forwards and left instead of right. So you can kind of, once you're taking too much damage in the front, you can just switch around and use the other side of the robot instead. Anyway, let's do some damage testing from guns. You can respawn, of course, at the platform instead, and respawn your robot. It's just that the animation for that one is kind of long, so it actually takes a lot less time for me to just go back and start over. So let's do some plasma damage here. So you can take damage quite well. After a few shots, of course, sooner or later you will start break armor. There we go. Like, most of the connections here are probably dead, but you see some of them are actually held in place here. Probably here, over here, by the other cubes. Well, it's still very much functional. We can do some the same principle is used on the side. It's just a bit thinner armor on the side. So let's over here and shoot some towards the side with laser. And there we go. So anyway, connection length is king in this game. Well, hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully everyone will be able to play this in multiplayer quite soon.